But she only leaves me alone for 3 minutes tops. I visit my brother-in-law every other year. He and hubby dash off to listen to music or whatever, leaving me with my sister-in-law, who always finds a way to leave me sitting alone in her family room. Once she went to glue a bow on a wreath for 2 hours. She then denies leaving me alone. She tells everyone it was for only 3 minutes tops. It makes me so mad that she denies leaving me sit in a room with nothing to do. So we recently went back there. Hubby and brother-in-law had to make a Home Depot run. 5 seconds later she excused herself. I waited patiently for 15 minutes. I then walked to the kitchen and pulled out 3 utensils from her utensil drawer and hid them. I sat back down, but she still didn't return, so I walked back in and opened both utensil drawers. I put one in the washer, one in the dryer, one in the pantry. I hid every last utensil. When we left she had not yet graced me with her presence. I told the rest of the family how she left me sit alone in her house again, and for the first time ever she couldn't deny it. Denying it would mean that she had to explain how I was alone long enough to hide every utensil in her kitchen. I won't see her again for 2 years, but I bet she doesn't leave me alone again. Agree with other posters. Let your husband go visit his brother and you stay home. You get to relax, husband gets his brother fix, and brother's wife doesn't have to play hostess. Call an Uber and leave. Have your husband leave you the car and the keys. Go shopping. Out to lunch. Make Sil look for you if when she ever cut Mrs. back into the room. This was what I thought too, just quietly leave. The only downside is not being able to see her face when she realizes you've disappeared and she has no idea what to tell your husband. Go for a walk and look at the neighborhood. Everyone is an adult, right? Why would I, a rude person, suddenly freak out if the adult I was ignoring left the house? I'm annoyed that my husband assigns me to entertain Sil while he runs off with his brother. They can go, but why force she and I to hang out? We aren't close and I usually have 1,568,955 things to do when I'm at home without him. I don't need or want the company. It's rude for me to tell her she's free to go do her own thing, so quietly leaving the room is the lesser evil. I'd be happy for us both if she went shopping, to a movie, etc. I'm not a babysitter. Sucks that we don't vibe, but we don't. Sil, probably. I know hit my car. So, someone I know hit my car while it was parked where he works. At first he was so apologetic and said he'd do anything to make it right. Then it came out that he's uninsured. With that knowledge, I tried my best to avoid a police report because he could easily get in legal trouble. I was trying my best to be nice. So the 2 options were either he pay the body shop in full, almost $3,000, or he pays the deductible for my insurance, repairs are made, then he works with the insurance to pay them back, even if this means garnishment. At least this would avoid suspension of his license or right to register. Anyway, I text him just expressing the importance of figuring this out because we have 30 days to file and it was already a week and a half since. My insurance agent also asked me to relay that the paying the deductible then paying them is best to avoid repercussions. So I did. Mind I've been nice this entire time. Even though he totally trashed my car because he decided to whip out of the parking space way too fast and the wrong way without looking. I didn't even tell anyone else but my agent, mother, grandma, partner and boss, since I had to go to my vehicle while working. He proceeds to text me, I've been driving longer than you've been born, I think I know this stuff. He's maybe 40, I'm 26. It's not like he's been driving for 50 years lol. Plus no matter how long you've driven doesn't make you knowledgeable or good at driving. I respond that there is really no need for sarcasm and I was just relaying something I was specifically asked to by my agent. He continues with that I'm lecturing him. I told him it wasn't a lecture, just a message being relayed. If anything, it was my agent lecturing him for driving uninsured for 6 months. He continued on and on, even saying I can do this all day and every text you send I can respond, even when I had stopped and asked him to not ever contact me again. Since he wanted to play this game I decided to not only tell my insurance to go after him for whatever they can, I included everything where he admitted fault so they can use in court when they go after him and even filed a police report so we can obtain the video evidence of him hitting my car. So yeah. Now he's at risk for losing his license and right to register. Do I care? Nah. Don't drive without insurance. Also don't be rude to the person you hit who is trying to help you out even though you're completely at fault. Not the most petty I've been but it was fun. Update 11/17. Okay, wow, did not expect this kind of attention to my mild pettiness, but I love it. He is getting what he deserves for driving like an idiot, driving without insurance and being a total ass to me. Police report was officially filed and my insurance just got it. I might even request the video footage just for giggles. Anyway, to add to the story he is my partner's shift manager. That is why I really tried to work with him. Thankfully my partner's work is not being affected by this since I told him to play the ignorant card and he pretends he has no idea what is going on, but in reality he wishes he could go off on the guy, which I totally get. I spoke directly to the general manager and he assured me multiple times my partner will not be treated any differently since he's a great employee, plus the shift manager is obviously at fault and really dumb for picking a fight with me. So it feels great to know that I wasn't just being petty without reason. I know the accident part was a good reason, but gosh, his attitude just really irks me still. I tried so hard and waited 2 weeks for him to figure stuff out. He ignored me for at least a week and a half when I'd ask if he's gotten anything in order. Just crazy to me that people who are clearly at fault and the one at the most risk will be the worst of the ones trying to help. Car is scheduled to get in the shop early December. I will be out $500 for some time until he is sought after, so Christmas might take a hit, but I think it is worth watching him squirm. I say that because all their coworkers mock him for what he did, and anytime it's mentioned he gets nervous because he thinks my partner will go off on him for how he spoke to me. Again, thanks for the support and laughs. This post and reaction to it helped lighten the situation so much more. He's using the older and wiser card and he's uninsured. At 40. I know. 40 years old and still dumb enough to drive without insurance. I know insurance is expensive, but it's necessary for things like this. I don't know how you drive without insurance. It's illegal in my state and you can't get your car registered. As soon as insurance coverage lapses, they notify DMV and DMV pulls registration. Clearly, maturity doesn't increase with age. You have done everything to keep the peace, and he plays the I know you are, but what am I game? You did the 8th thing by having your insurance company deal with this for you. If he continues to harass you in the future, get a restraining order. This type of person isn't going to go away quietly. When I was 30, a woman more than twice my age slammed into me from behind at a red light. Took my bumper half off. This was my first brand new car, and I had only been driving it a couple of months. She laughed it off and told me hey these things happen, no big deal, it can be fixed, etc. I told her it was a big deal that she carelessly slammed into me and doesn't even care enough to apologize. So she gives me the whole I've been around longer on this planet than you so believe me these are little things in life and you can't get upset over little things, etc. She gestured at her dented old car and told me she has been in plenty of little accidents and she doesn't let herself get upset over it. It took everything to keep my cool while a cop came and took our statements. Later that day, her husband calls me and asks if we can settle this outside of insurance because he cannot afford her premiums to go any higher. I told him if she wasn't so dismissive and unapologetic about slamming into me, I would consider, but hell no. I'm going through insurance. I told him she has no business driving and should be taking a bus. I also suggested he take her to a doctor because she could be suffering from dementia. That whole attitude about being older and wiser and therefore right is absolute horseshit. Your story reminds me of the time when I was a new driver. An older woman ran a red light and hit me almost head on. No one was hurt and we both pulled over. She was giving me the same line, oh, as long as no one was hurt everything is fine. You are young and you will learn this is just part of life. Well, the cops showed up and she ran over to the cop and said we have worked it all out. He admitted it was his fault. The cop didn't buy it and gave her the ticket. A week later I get a call from the cop. He said the woman had filed a complaint that he had conducted an unprofessional investigation and he wanted me to testify at his hearing. I was more than happy to comply. Reminds me of shortly after I'd passed my driving test. In my home country, learner drivers have to display a plate to show they're newly qualified. A woman, who had been illegally parked with her hazard lights on, pulled a U-turn from the other side of a very busy road, cut across 2 lanes of traffic and cutting off a bus and trying to get in front of me. It was so unexpected because it was an insane move. I did not see her coming and she ended up sideways blocking the road. My passengers and I were in shock at how mad and dangerous that move was. The traffic moved on and then we were stopped by the next set of lights. My sister said the woman in that car is trying to talk to you, so I rolled my window down and she started screaming at me for making her block the road and said when you've been driving as long as I have. Sometimes you need to do a wee turn in the road, to which I responded, it's a good thing you still have your hazard lights on to warn everyone you're a shitty driver, as her car rolled into the bus in front of her. She was so busy screaming at me about her mad maneuver that she wasn't even holding the brakes. I got to laugh and drive off. My father was stopped at a red light and a woman slammed into him from behind. My father would have let it go with her repairing his car and no ticket, but then she said to the responding police officer, he's too old to be driving anyway. So my father insisted on a ticket for her and made 3 court appearances to be sure the ticket stuck. My dad was faithful. My dad got rear-ended at a red light and the guy was trying to insist it wasn't his fault. BC, he didn't see brake lights, the truck was in park. The cop heard that excuse and goes, so you didn't see brake lights. Did you happen to see the big black truck that was stopped in front of you? Oh, this video has come to an end. If you want more such cool stories, then go to one of the many following videos.